I'm Dan Diprima. Alright. Uh-oh, I got a light went out, hang on. Growing up, we attended St. Mary's Catholic Church. My family was Catholic. I went to St. Mary's Catholic School. We went to church a lot. We was always there on Sundays. Probably when I got into high school, we probably didn't go as much as we should have. I want to say it was around my senior year in high school. My parents ended up going their separate ways. I remember living with my mom some, and then living with my dad. Soon after I graduated, I finally moved in with my mom, and I'd been living with her for about a year. I really didn't have no direction. I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I'd had some relationships, didn't last very long, and it probably was about 6 months I ended up meeting Hannah. And I remember her always encouraged me to come to church on Wednesday nights and on Sundays and Sunday nights. So, you know, we dated for about a couple of years, and we finally got married. And I remember a few times on Sunday mornings, I would try to encourage her to sleep in or not go to church. And she would get up, get her clothes on, and tell me bye. And that's one thing that I always appreciated about her was, you know, her faith in God. You know, that was the one thing that she chose to do, was to go to church instead of staying home with me. And you know, that pretty much showed me right there, you know, God comes first. And if I chose to stay home, then that's what I could do. But she was going to go to church. And, you know, I think I tried that a few times, and I realized, you know, that wasn't going to work. So, you know, I ended up, you know, starting to go, and was going faithfully to church. And at the time we were going to Oak Hill, and I ended up coming in contact with Mitchell. I think he was the minister at the time. And, you know, Mitchell had asked me, why haven't I been baptized? And I said, well, Mitchell, you know, I said I was brought up Catholic. I said I was christened when I was a baby. I said, and then I got baptized when I was in high school. I said, you know, I really don't feel like I need to be baptized. And he had asked us to come over one night for dinner, and we did. And after we ate, you know, he sat down with me and pretty much opened the Bible up and, you know, showed me, you know, each passage on you know, on the steps of being baptized. And, you know, no one's ever done that before. So you know, I looked at him and I told him how much I appreciated him taking the time to sit down with me and show me that. So that night I ended up, you know, rededicating my life to the Lord. I want to say, you know, before you can answer that question, you have to look at Jesus. And you know, what was the one thing that Jesus preached? It was love. And I think when you read about all the things that Jesus did, as far as showing his love to the people, you also see how his actions encouraged a lot of those people. So I think to answer that question is, you know, love is a big part of that. And When I think of love, I think about, growing up. My father, he was very involved in my childhood, so much so that, he was the Little League baseball coach. He took me hunting. We went fishing. I mean, he spent a lot of time when I was young being a part of my life. And, that's very important as far as him showing me that love. And my mom, she was always the one, when I was in trouble and my father was going to discipline me, she was always the one, there with her arms out, telling me that it's going to be okay. Don't worry, we'll get through this. If I ever got in a situation when I was, feeling down, she was always there to build me up. And, I appreciate the love that she showed me. Having those moments in my early childhood and the love that I experienced, I think that has really helped me to be the type of person that I want to be as far as encouraging people. I think it's important for parents, especially at a young age, to really, love your children. Spend as much time as you can with them, because it does have an effect on them as they grow up. And I'm just thankful that my parents did that for me. All right, so what are some things that I struggle with? Well, I mean, what don't I struggle with? I struggle with jealousy. I struggle with lust. I struggle with, anger. I struggle with being a parent, being a husband. I mean, these are things that, I'm sure a lot of people struggle with. But what you have to realize is, even though I'm trying to live my life for Jesus, I still have these struggles. Just because you're a Christian or you're a believer, that doesn't mean that you're perfect. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have struggles. And I think some people have that stereotype of, well, he's a Christian and he's perfect. But I'm here to tell you that that's not true. I feel like sometimes, well, let me say this. I feel like when I made that decision in my life to live for Jesus, from that point on, I felt like my life has gotten harder. I feel like when you're living for the world and the devil's got you, I feel like a lot of times things are easy. Now, not for everybody, but I'm just saying, I feel like, the devil's got you and there's really no need for him to, cause any issues with you. But, when you make that change to stop living for the world and live for Christ, expect some tough times. There's a lot of stuff that I've overcome in my life, and I still have a few struggles that I deal with daily. But I'm thankful that I serve a God who's forgiving, and I'm just thankful that I've been forgiven for all the struggles that I've dealt with. The Church of Rome means that I have a family who supports me. It means that I have a group of brothers and sisters who will pray for me. And also, when I make mistakes, I have those who will hold me accountable. And that's what the Church of Rome means to me. I'm Dan Diprima, and I am the Church of Rome.